Hey crafty friends, welcome to Scrapary. Today I'm moving on to part 2 of my tech-themed birthday scrapbook page. In the last video, I designed the futuristic layout in Cricut Design Space, and now it's time to bring it to life by cutting out all the pieces using my Cricut Maker. There's just something so satisfying about seeing a digital design turn into physical pieces, ready to be assembled into a scrapbook layout. Let's get creative! Before cutting, I like to make sure I have everything prepped and ready to go. This makes the process smooth and stress-free. Since this layout has multiple layers, I'm using a mix of cardstock in different shades of purple, blue, black, and metallics to create that galaxy-inspired high-tech vibe. I love how the metallic cardstock adds a bit of shine and dimension, making it look even more futuristic. I also like to organize my materials by color and what's cutting next. This helps me stay on track and makes loading them onto the mat quick and easy. For this project, I'm using a fine point blade, since some of the designs are intricate and I want those cuts to be crisp and clean. One of my favorite things about the Cricut Maker is how precise it is. Cutting all these tiny gears, circuits, and sharp angles would be nearly impossible by hand, but the Cricut gets it perfect every time. It's always fun to watch the machine work. There's something mesmerizing about seeing all the little details cut out flawlessly. As the Cricut cuts, I like to keep an eye on the progress, especially for intricate details. If I ever notice a piece not cutting cleanly, I'll check blade pressure. Sometimes increasing it slightly can help. Cardstock placement, making sure it's stuck firmly to the mat, and mat stickiness. If it's losing its grip, I press it down with a squeegee. It's the little things like these that make a big difference in getting clean, precise cuts. Once a sheet is done, I carefully peel away the excess paper before lifting the design itself. This helps keep everything intact and prevents tearing. A quick tip, for delicate pieces like circuits, flip the mat over and peel it away from the cardstock instead of pulling the cutouts off directly. I'm not doing it here, but this keeps everything flat and prevent curling, which is super important for thin details like wires and circuit lines. I also like to save my scraps. Sometimes even the smallest leftover pieces can be used for tiny embellishments, journaling boxes, and punching out smaller shapes for future projects. Scraps might seem like tiny extras, but they often come in handy for adding those finishing details later on. I'm using a light grit mat to keep the cardstock in place without it tearing when I peel it off. There's something so satisfying about lifting a perfectly cut embellishment off the mat. It's like a puzzle piece fitting right into place. The best part about this design is the layering. Once all these pieces are cut, I'll be able to stack them to create depth and dimension on the page. I always love seeing how each layer builds on the next. Even though it's just paper, layering gives it that 3D dynamic look. Now that everything is finished up, I'm ready for the next step, inking. In part 3, I'll be inking a galaxy-themed background, so be sure to stay tuned for that. What do you think so far? Let me know in the comments. Do you use Cricut for scrapbooking, or do you prefer hand-cutting your pieces? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, follow, and stay crafty.